Okay, how are you? Hope you're well. Lesson 5.3. The idea is we are writing the equation of a line using point slope form. So here's point slope. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where the slope is m and where x1 comma y1 is a point on the line. Like I said in class the other day, this is another way to write the equation of a line. It's perfectly valid. We're going to practice this way in 5.3. If I ask you to write the equation of a line and that's all I say, you can use any form you want. But in 5.3, you need to use point slope. So here's how you use point slope. Write the equation of a line that has a slope of 4 and goes through the point 3 comma 2. So the way we would do this is we would identify our slope. It's given to us in the problem, so m equals 4. Identify the point, 3 comma 2, given to us in the problem, 3 comma 2. And now I'm going to write down the equation of a line in point slope, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. If all I have to do is write the equation of a line and point slope, I just have to plug in the slope for m, and I have to put the x-coordinate here for x1, and I have to put the y-coordinate in for y1. And so my final answer would be y minus the y-coordinate of 2 equals the slope of 4 times x minus the x-coordinate of 3. And that's it. You're done. And this is why point slope is my favorite form of a line. It's easy, it's efficient, it's fast. I've told you in class all you need to write the equation of a line is a point and a slope. If you use point slope form, you're done. That's it. Now, from this form, you can write it in slope intercept form, but that we'll talk about in another video. Right now, we're just working on point slope. Good? So let's try another example. Write the equation of a line that goes through the points negative 4 comma 3 and 2, negative 1. So we need a slope and we need a point. We have 2 points, but we don't have slope. So we find our slope by saying the slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where y2 and y1 are y-coordinates and x1 and x2 are x-coordinates. So here I'm going to do 3 minus negative 1. 3 minus negative 1. And then in the denominator, because I did the 3 first, I have to do negative 4 minus 2. That simplifies to a slope of 3 minus negative 1 is 4. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. We reduce and put the negative in the numerator, and we call that negative 2/3. Good? Now, I have a slope. I have a slope of negative 2/3, and I need a point. Well, I've got 2 points to choose from. I'm going to pick this one just because I wanted to. Doesn't matter which one you pick. So now, point slope form, y minus the y-coordinate equals the slope times x minus the x-coordinate. Plugging in the variables that I have, y minus the y-coordinate of 3 equals the slope of negative 2/3 times x minus the x-coordinate of negative 4. X minus -4. We might simplify this, or we should simplify that. I probably wouldn't take off points if you left it like that. It's not incorrect, but typically we would write it as x plus 4. Good? And again, I love point slope form because it's so simple to do, so simple to use. You just need a point and a slope, and you just plug it in and you're done. Good? Other things you might be asked to do with lines in point slope form is you might be asked to graph lines in point slope form. I also think that this is a pretty easy thing to do. But you know, I've been doing math for 20 some odd years, so maybe it's easy because I've done a lot of practice. If we get something like this, y minus 5 equals -3/4 x plus 2. We want to be able to recognize that this is point slope form. Just like we recognize y equals mx plus b, recognize this as y minus a number equals the slope times x minus a number. Now, I know you're thinking I may have misspoke, that this is a plus 2 and I said minus a number. But remember, point slope form looks like this. Y minus a y coordinate equals the slope times x minus the x coordinate. When I see something like y minus 5 equals -3/4 times x plus 2 in parentheses, the first thing that jumps out at me that I want you to see is the slope. And write that down. The slope is -3/4. Good? The harder part to see is how to use this information right here to talk about the point you have. It's a little counterintuitive, but the point that is on our line is the point -2, +5. The reason for that is the form of point slope says minus x1 minus y1. So if you see a plus, that actually means that the x-coordinate is negative. And if you see a minus, then that means the y-coordinate is positive, or the coordinate is positive. Now, you don't have to find the y-intercept. You don't have to find anything else to graph this line. All you need to do now is draw a coordinate plane. I know that's not very straight. Neither is that. Label the axes x and y. Go to the point -2, 5. We know that point's on the line. And now from that point, just use the slope to go down 1, 2, 3, and over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. More important than having a perfect graph on graph paper, I would rather have you be able to tell me what these points are. So we know this is the point -2, 5. I went down 3. That means the y-coordinate here is 2. Down 3 from 5. And then I went over 4 from -2. So that tells me the x-coordinate here is 2. You don't have to label those points, but I want you to understand how I found them. And now we're done. It just takes 2 points to graph a line. We connect those 2 points, and we're done. You don't have to find this information, but you could see the y-intercept is between, it looks like between 4 and 2 anyway. I don't think it's 3. Actually, I know it's not 3. And I can see that the x-intercept is positive. Just things that we could find if we had to, but we don't have to find necessarily. That's how you graph from point slope. And I think that's all the information you need to know. Watch this video and be ready to work in class on Thursday. Thank you so much. Peace.